Hi, my name is Gerard Daché, and I'm the Executive Director of the Government Blockchain Association. I'd like to welcome you to this month's edition of Emerging GovTech. We do this series every month on different emerging technologies that are important for government, all kinds of topics. We do healthcare, identity, supply chain, financial, non-financial, and we do these every month. So, and when we do these, we stream them on LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Facebook, so they get streamed across a whole bunch of different platforms. The topic this month is crypto trading impact. And so today we'll be talking about crypto and digital asset trading and how does it impact real world projects. By the end of the session, we hope that you'll have a better understanding of algorithmic based trading and understand project based trading, token trading.
It's not coming up on the YouTube page.
All right. So I understand that it's not coming up on the YouTube page. All right. I want to make a couple of announcements before we get started, and that is the Government Blockchain Association is hosting an event at the United States Capitol on October 30th, 2025. The topic is called The Future of Money, Governance, and the Law. If you go to the gbaglobal.org, and you'll see there the information about that event. It is being sponsored by the members of our session today, so we will be talking about it during the session. Also, as part of that, we do this really incredible gala reception. It's a Monopoly-themed cryptocurrency event called Cryptopoly. It'll happen on October 29th in Washington, D.C. It's going to be a phenomenal event. EasyBot is one of our sponsors. We'll hear more from them about that as we move forward. Also want to let you know about the blockchain maturity model. The blockchain maturity model is a framework designed by the GBA to assess blockchain solutions to make sure that you can trust them, right? We evaluate it from all sorts of different perspectives. And CES Network has gone through the rigorous BMM assessment and came out with flying colors. They'll be on the show with us today, and we can hear a little bit more about their project. We're also developing a new services model for people in the organizations in the services industry, and EasyBot is working with us on that too. They're with us also. If you're looking for solutions in the Web3 space, the Web3 directory on the GBA Global site is really the first place you ought to go. You'll find the EasyBot and CES Network there, along with blockchain solutions in all sorts of different. So we'll put some links on these things out throughout the show, and you'll find out more about it. All right. The last announcement I want to make is really the report that we're going to be releasing on October 30th at the United States Capitol. It's called Preventing Government Fraud, Waste, and Abuse with Blockchain. If you're interested in that, then send an email to events@gbaglobal.org. All right. So let's talk about the subject today. Right now, let me first introduce our guest. Our first guest is Dr. Mohammed Ali, and he is the founder and CEO of EasyBot, a Dubai-based crypto auto trading platform known really for simplifying and automating digital asset strategies. Mohammed has been leading EasyBot from its Dubai headquarters for several years, and he remains an active and visionary CEO, regularly hosting live Zoom events, and he shares their transparent updates on their trading strategies. I first got to know him on a show that we did a while back, and I was really struck by how open he was. And the more you get to hear from him, you'll see kind of why he got into the space and just the incredible lessons that he's learned that he shares with other people. So super excited to have him on the show. Along with him is Charles Anderson. Charles has become a good friend. He's best known in professional circles by his handle Wealthy Choices. He serves as the director of resource development and business, and he's a business intelligence officer at EasyBot. He lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Charles brings over a decade of experience really blending financial services and data-driven strategies. One of the things that is really great about Charles is how he works with people to help them understand the technologies, the different crypto trading methods, and he personally mentored me through this whole process. So I've been working with him and EasyBot since the beginning of the year, and it's just been a phenomenal experience. Charles is a dynamic communicator. And leader. He's passionate about supporting client engagements, operational excellence, and cryptocurrency awareness through EasyBot's mission. And last but not least, Nick Well, I'm butchering your last name. Zaldastani.
Zaldastani.
I refer to him as Nick, so that's
the way to do it. Nick Z.
Yeah. So Nick is a seasoned technology executive, a thought leader in the world of decentralized infrastructure. Nick is the chairman and co-founder and the head of marketing at CES Network, and I can't tell you enough positive things about CES. We'll hear about them in a bit. But they're a Web3 project, really pioneering decentralized cloud storage solutions designed for both speed, security, and scalability. And also AI. CES Network is really tailor-made. Nick, maybe you can share a little bit about that. So if you have an AI solution and you're looking for a decentralized infrastructure, CES is really ideal for that. But he's got a degree from Duke University and the Harvard Business School. He's a former had leadership roles at Oracle, where he really directed international marketing and product management. We were on a call yesterday, and he opened his mouth for about 30 seconds and about 2 years of wisdom, but it just came flowing out. He really brings decades of experience in both enterprise and startup to the blockchain space. So under his leadership, and this is where it becomes important for today, CES recently launched a CES token. It's the utility token that powers its decentralized storage ecosystem. And today, that's what we'll be covering. So he's passionate about data sovereignty, has been instrumental in advocating for standards and innovation and reshaping really how data is stored, shared, and secured in the digital age. So please join me in welcoming our three very distinguished and just really great people to the show. So listen, we're going to talk about a couple things first, but I think it was Nick who suggested that we really wanted to tell stories because you learn a lot through that. So I want to start with Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali, I've heard your story before. It's a great, compelling story and really sets the stage. So how did you get into crypto trading?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here on this call, and I appreciate the efforts that GBA is doing in basically educating people and putting people up to stage when it comes to technology and also other things related to blockchain and cryptocurrency. So I will start a little bit earlier than my starting with the crypto trading. I'll just tell a little bit of my background and how did I get into the crypto at the first place. In profession, I'm electronics and electrical engineer, worked for over 13 years in the elevators industry in two of the big leading companies in the elevator industry, Schindler and ThyssenKrupp. One is Swiss and the other one is German. And while I was climbing the ladder of the job from training engineer to project manager to branch manager, and then got into operations for a couple of years. When the pandemic hit in 2020 or end of 2019, I had to leave my job. And by that time, me and my wife have started a travel agency. But then after the pandemic, the lockdown and everything happens around it, it's kind of a dead industry. So I had to deal with this. I had to somehow get a source of income and so on. And the thing that really attracts my attention is the cryptocurrency. And in specific, it was more of the mining, because as an engineer mindset, mining made sense for me to put the machines at home and let them run those operations, and we make rewards in return. So I had like my last credit card, I used it to buy some mining machines, and I was mining specifically Ethereum when it was mineable at that time. Around 2020. So I brought those machines and put them at home. And based on the logic and based on the study that I made, it should be able to cover my main costs and also help me to recover the investment that I put into it. And it worked well. It worked well there. For this first 7 months, I was full break even in about 7 months. While I was mining and while the mining is working perfectly for me, at least covering the main cost and so on, I was introduced to crypto trading. And a friend of mine actually called me and said, there is a crypto trading company, why don't you join us? Where we had to send our Bitcoin to the company and they had to trade it for us. So I decided, let me try this one. And so on. I did my due diligence and it looks like the company is existing and so on. So I got a couple of, I would say fraction of a Bitcoin and sent to them over and they started trading. We were making kind of a good income at the beginning until it came to a point where you are unable to log into the website. So trying to log into the website, you can't log in and it's kind of a static website. You don't see the trading anymore. You don't see your capital. You don't see your profit that you made. And the rumors, soon after, the rumors start coming out saying that the owner is missing and they cannot find him and so on. So I realized that it's a scam, and it was more of a Ponzi scheme than actual tradings. So they were not doing trading, basically. They were just taking the new investors' money, paying the old investors and so on, until they ran away with maybe a couple of thousands of Bitcoin. I'm not quite sure about the amount. So at that point, I made a promise to myself, I'm not going to get into crypto trading anymore, and this is the end of it. No more trading, no more crypto only. I will just do my minings and look for something else. Soon after, the same friend who called me for that company called me again and said, okay, now there's this new company who does crypto trading and so on. So my first answer was obviously no. I mean, I'm not going to get myself into this anymore. I just lost my money there in that company. But then when he started explaining more that this time, no, it's different. You keep your funds within your custody, within your exchange account, and you connect that software. It was software that does trading on our behalf within our own account. So it was kind of safer than the previous one, because my funds are not going to any third party that they claim they are trading it or anything like this. So yeah, I said, okay, let me give it a shot. So he was guiding me through online because he wasn't from the town. So that's how we do it. He showed me how to create the API connection from the exchange to the software, and then it came to the settings of the software. There were some numbers that we had to put in. So he told me, listen, those are the numbers, you just put them and it works for you. Yeah, so that's exactly what I did. I just took the numbers blindly and put them on the software, and it started working. That was around, I think, March, April 2021. By that time, the market was going up. It was kind of a bull market. So we were making some good profits, and sometimes 2% per day, 5% a day, 3% a day, while the funds are in our custody. So it was kind of very safe crypto trading tool, until it came to the moment of truth. I call it the moment of truth because it was a shock for me and for all the people that were using that bot or that software. Actually, I was part of a community mainly from the US and Canada and the Western world. And we were having Zooms on a daily basis. So when the Bitcoin and the price of the crypto in general started falling down around mid of May, June 2021, yeah. Then the price started going down. The Bitcoin, I remember the price went down from 64,000 to 28,000 in a matter of less than a month. That was basically the moment of truth where the trading stopped. The bot didn't trade anymore, and the value of the portfolio started falling down for me and for all the people around me of that community. And then we were just, stuck. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to get out of this situation. For me, that wasn't the end because, okay, I thought, let me try to do something. Let me see what went wrong. Because for me, there were only three possibilities of something that goes wrong at that time. It's either the market, which did something exceptional and the bot stopped trading, or it's the software didn't work well, or maybe the parameters that we put into the software were not perfect. So I started just using my home office every day, wake up in the morning and start checking and seeing what happened. So I looked at the market, the chart of the Bitcoin and the main tokens, and I found that the price is exactly the same. It's kind of a nature of the market to go up 50%, go down 50%, and fluctuate all the time. So I put the market aside. So the market is not the issue. Let me look at the other things. The second thing that I was looking at is the software. So for me, the software is a tool. You give it the parameters and execute that strategy into the market. So the software also aside. Now the parameters. Let me look at the parameters and see what happens, if it's perfect or not. So at that time, I didn't have really knowledge about trading or about the parameters of the algorithmic tradings and so on. So I had to do a trial and error to understand what take profits means, what retracement means, what pullback means, what all of these words that didn't mean anything for me at that time means. So I just had like my pen and paper and my computer in front of me for about 4 weeks, just only trying to analyze with the trial and error to see in real market, okay, take profit means this, retracement means that, and blah, 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 blah. So I made a list of the parameters. And when I applied the same numbers that were given to me by my friend into those parameters, but now I understand what they means. I realized that it meant stop if the market goes down like around 20% or something like this, because the strategy is made like this. If the market is going up, it's going to be trading fine and make profit. If the price goes down, it's going to stuck and the value of the portfolio is going to fall down. So by the end of the fourth week, I came up with a new strategy that works for that bot or for that software that we used at that time. But the problem for me is I couldn't test it because obviously my funds were stuck in that market, and all the people around me, their funds got stuck and they cannot liquidate now. Otherwise, they would be losing like more than 50% of the value of their portfolios. So I started looking outside the box. While attending those Zoom calls of the communities, I've been seeing people really struggling. I mean, I remember one guy was having $200,000 of his retirement money. He put all of it here, and suddenly he sees like 70 or 80,000 only, and he's just blown away. He didn't know what to do. So seeing many people like this really triggered something in my mind to see if I can do something to help those people who are stuck into this market and help them come out of the market with the profit they made and the capital that they put in at the first place. So that's exactly what I did. I came into that calls and I offered my support. I could help the situation. And I started with a couple of people to play with the parameters of their bots. So looking at their account and analyzing it, and then changing a little bit of the parameters and letting the account trade for a couple of weeks. And what I saw happening is that those people comes out with the funds that they put at the beginning in trading, plus the profit that they have made, without the market having to come back up again to the initial point, which is basically exactly how it should work based on the numbers that I made. It's more of a numbers game. And then as I'm helping people, other people getting to know that I'm doing this, they're coming also and getting lined up. I remember that time was, I was enjoying it because I was helping people, but it was also a bit of a struggle because I had to stay awake until late nights or maybe mornings of my time because.
Dr. Ali, I think that's a great segue, right? Because you were in a position where you saw you learned what algorithmic trading was, right? You saw that the existing models that were out there only worked when the markets went up, right? Yep. You came up with a solution, and that's kind of how EasyBot got started, right? So EasyBot, from that point forward, your willingness and desire to help those other people, after learning the lesson that you got to custody your own funds, right? You can't give it to somebody else. That's like the Sam Bankman-Fried kind of thing, right? And that's really what happened there with where this came. Let me throw it over to Charles, right? Charles, can you explain a little bit? Take us from where Dr. Ali brought us, right? You got involved with EasyBot, and can you kind of tell the audience what is this algorithmic trading that Dr. Ali talked about?
Yeah, sure. So, and we got to go on a bit of a journey for this, right? Because algorithmic trading has been around for a long time, since like the 1940s. The first rule-based fund was established back in 1949. So the concept of algorithmic trading has been around for a while, just not in digital asset markets, right? So it's been relevant in traditional finance for quite some time. By like 2013, 70% of U.S. equities were traded using algorithms, right? And so EasyBot releases in 2022 with this concept of making use of rule-based trading, algorithmic trading on an automated fashion for digital asset markets, for cryptocurrency, for something that's so volatile, most people want to stay away from it. But now in come EasyBot with the perfect solution to where instead of someone being subject to risk with volatility, all they got to do is turn on a software product, and let the algorithm take over. And so algorithmic trading, all it is a set of rules that establishes how trading will go. And so for EasyBot, it's spot trading. It's buy low, sell high. The market moves a certain way, the algorithm will take over, right? Market moves down, algorithm says, hey, we got to place a buy order. Market moves up from that position. Algorithm says we got to place a sell order for profit. And so this solution is relevant for what's happening today, especially in the United States, with reference to things like retirement savings and 401ks and mutual funds, et cetera. And so we kind of understand that, at least in the United States, right, the retirement system, it's under strain. Nearly half of U.S. households report no retirement savings at all, and even those people in their late 50s often hold balances that are really far below what's actually needed to secure retirement. And so traditional tools, right, like 401ks, S&P 500 index funds, CDs, money market accounts, they face things like contribution caps, liquidity constraints, market drawdowns, and really modest yields, right? And so IRS data, it confirms that there are deferral limits, right, for these types of things for people of a certain age. And Fidelity Investments, one of the major retirement benefit companies in the United States, they report there are record balances right now, but there are continued gaps with what people actually need to have as far as those retirement balances. And so digital asset markets, cryptocurrency, they offer higher return potential, but it comes with volatility, right? And so EasyBot's algorithmic approach of a rule-based a situation where there's no emotion involved, there's no needing to take breaks, there's no days off. It's just rules that say this is what will happen if the market does X, Y, and Z. That approach is designed to turn that inherent volatility into systematic opportunity, in all honesty. And so while this is happening, this opportunity for profit, we're emphasizing protection of trading capital. We're emphasizing measured performance. We're emphasizing operational resilience, no single point of failure with the EasyBot algorithm. And so it's just really a great opportunity for anyone who's banking on traditional finance to get into digital asset markets using a perfect solution that mitigates risk. And I'll show you if I have time. How much time do I have?
No, hold on just 1 second, because I want to kind of take us from Dr. Ali got into this thing, right? Mm-hmm. Recognizing that that digital assets really is a very strong way for people to invest and stuff like that. Most people understand digital assets in terms of like Bitcoin and right. Stuff like that. But there's a whole new class of, I would call them investment opportunities, right? There's project-based tokens, right? A lot of people look at Bitcoin, and some people say this about the US dollar, but they say, hey, there's nothing behind it, right? So let me turn it over to Nick. Nick, probably everybody on here understands the idea of investing in like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but are there project-based tokens? Well, I know that there are, but tell them a little bit about some of these project-based tokens, and maybe use CES Network as an example of what these project-based tokens are. Why would somebody want to invest in a project-based token or CES?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, and couldn't be more excited to be on here and sharing with EasyBot. We have a great partnership, which you'll see in a minute. I think that's where we were being taken until I interrupted and shared with you a great deal of excitement. I've been in the data business for a very long time. I started at Oracle back in the late 80s and really focused on how do you ensure data sovereignty, privacy, and security. And back then, you know, we were known at Oracle and other databases not to have the best mechanisms to actually ensure the data is absolutely able to be pulled out. In fact, the joke in 1988 was you might put the data in, but can you find it? Good enough. Version 7 came out and proved you could use a relational database really effectively. And why I go back is that our focus on data sovereignty, privacy, and security has been there for 50 years. The issue is that it's always cost us something to have that level of security, sovereignty, and privacy. The best part about the blockchain is the fact that the blockchain itself provides this mechanism on top of TCP/IP to provide a mechanism to ensure that we actually can track everything. And of course, the blockchain is pretty basic, but you can build on top of it like the cryptocurrencies have done. But outside of the crypto world, outside of the crypto token world, there are other opportunities. There is the whole world of DePIN, decentralized storage, CDN, DApps, smart contracts. The whole area of access and utility tokens are out there and coming out in strides. When we think about what's happening with technology, I don't like to talk about Web3. I like to talk about more that the blockchain is the next generation of technology. We're going to be able to do things with the blockchain and the blockchain infrastructure that we were never able to do in the Web 2 world. And as an example, decentralized storage is one of those things. Decentralized CDN is another. The ability to do things with DPIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, where you can actually have, Wi-Fi in remote areas of the world that don't have Wi-Fi right now and cellular service. That you can actually go beyond the DPIN world and you can get into governance. Think about the whole area of voting and, the importance of being able to raise the bar on authentication, real world assets, the staking and the security aspects, the incentives, we can now start to reward people for usage, data economics, and how we actually, with this whole blockchain, can do things way beyond just a cryptocurrency. And of course, interoperability is a key part of this, and how tokens can be used to bridge amongst all these ecosystems. And so when we talk about tokens, it's not just a crypto token. It's a token that goes way beyond. And at CES, what we've done is we really focused on a problem that we felt was going to be exacerbated by AI. In other words, AI was going to be the driver. In fact, when I spoke a couple of years ago in Dubai at the conference, I said, what email did to TCP/IP, I believe that AI will do to Web3. I believe that AI is going to be the biggest driver of Web3 adoption, because AI models are the most important thing to keep private. Can you imagine if I got into an AI model of a large corporation like Coke or Pepsi or Disney or Universal or any company out there, a car company, and I was able to start to understand how they're making decisions? That would be a huge competitive threat, and certainly something that nobody wants to let go of. And so as we think about the AI world and how it's going to augment and how it's going to grow, it's not going to be just ChatGPT. It's going to be these private AI models. When I say private, I'm saying AI models that are meant for a certain audience, and that audience can actually share that AI model with another audience, perhaps. This is where we get into digital health, decentralized health. Think about decentralized research, the fact that you can get rid of centralized bodies doing research and just have the researchers come together. Think about hospitals that come together. So when you check into a hospital and you have a very unique problem, the reservoir of knowledge goes way beyond the hospital system that they're part of. It goes to the world system that's plugged into what they're doing. This is going to change the world in terms of health. This is going to change the world in terms of how we do things. And so when we think about tokens, they go way, way beyond, the world of just the crypto side of it. And so that's what I'm introducing. And CES basically provides a mechanism to ensure three things. All of those things are all about it, keeping your data sovereignty, keeping your data privacy, and keeping your data security. And those three things are: we provide a full decentralized data storage infrastructure, we provide a decentralized CDN, and we also provide our own blockchain. Those are all in the same network. And the benefit of having all of those in the same network is that we do something that very few ever talk about, needless to say, the Web3 community, and that is we can stream video, we can stream audio, we can provide fast transactions for finance. So we are really bringing the world of 2.0 benefits to the world of Web3. But we don't stop there, because we don't see the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. We see data as data. We don't care where it is located. We have partnerships with, of course, Amazon and Google and all sorts of other decentralized and centralized data storage systems. And we're all about how do you bring all of those together. And that's what the CES network provides, is a fully decentralized system for data management.
That's awesome, Nick. If people want to find out more about your particular project, they can go to, is it what, CES.network? Is that the website?
CESS.network. It's actually, I just noticed it's right next to my name. So it's right there. That popped up.
So let me tell you where I want to go now. I'd like to go over to Mohammed. Mohammed, so we just talked about in this crypto trading space, right? People understand crypto trading with like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now we've got this concept of crypto trading with projects, right? And we just learned a little bit about CES. When you have to decide, because you don't make all trading pairs available, right? When you have to decide which trading pairs you have, how do you do that? And then after that, I want to ask another question in terms of what kind of performance are you seeing? I think Charles was probably going to get to that a little earlier, but then Charles, if you wouldn't mind going back and saying, when you're doing this algorithmic crypto trading, what kind of performance are you seeing, especially compared to traditional investments? And then talk a little bit about maybe the trading with these utility tokens, because I think this is really introducing a whole new topic, right? People thought about cryptocurrency trading, but now trading with projects that have value, that where Bitcoin went from whatever you said 64,000 down to 20,000, right? These projects should be a lot more stable, right? And I know that what's really important from an EasyBot perspective is you want to find pairs where there's movement, right? And you guarantee against it going to zero, right? But Jiminy Crickets, if I can invest in a token like CES or something like CES, where I know there's something really behind it, I've really got the best of both worlds. So, Dr. Ali, share with us a little bit about how do you choose these tokens, and then Charles, we'll go back to you to see a little bit more about the performance. So, Dr. Ali.
Yes, sure. So we have a specific criteria when we choose tokens or coins to be traded on our platform. We don't have all of them available. So the 4 criteria that we have, number 1 is the trading volume. So the token or the coin or the trading pair need to have big trading volume so that we can avoid what's so-called slippage in trading. Slippage basically means you place a trade at a specific price, but actually because the price moves really quick and there's no liquidity, you get it placed in a different price, which is lower, and then which results in kind of loss on that trade. So this criteria number 1. Number 2, we have is the past performance, to see how was the past performance of this coin. What was the lowest point it reached to? Did it go to close to zero? Did it go to 90% or 70% or just 50% and so on? The third criteria is how old is this coin? We're looking for, we will not use a coin that was born yesterday. We're going to be using coins that have a proven track records that have been there for a couple of years at least, unless there's some exception. So the fourth and the most important thing is what is the backbone project behind the coin. We don't want to trade a coin that doesn't have any kind of a backbone that supports it and have the possibility to go to zero. So as long as the coin is fluctuating and not going to zero, then it can be traded. But and what can give you assurance of that is the backbone project. As you rightly mentioned, if the coin has a backbone project, that means it will unlikely go to zero. Let me put it this way, and then it's more trusted for the trading, and it can always have value and can be traded. I'll just answer a little bit of the question that you answered. You asked about the statistics and so on. I'll just mention the global things, and then Charles can take us in a little bit more details. So far, we have closed more than 17 million trades with a success rate of more than 99.8%. This is basically the global things, but now Charles can tell us specifically about the CES token, which we started recently trading it as a test. So I'll give it back to you, Charles, unless there's no question. There's other question for me.
Yeah, and Charles, you got a little bit of time, right? So if you want to talk about EasyBot performance in general, and then the CES token in specific, then I want you to feel free to do that.
Yeah, and I want to share my screen. So let's bring up some data points. This will be really interesting to kind of to venture out into performance. We want to make performance relevant to something we're familiar with. And so let's take a look at one of the major indices in the United States. It's like a benchmark for portfolio performance. And so consider S&P 500, right? Everybody's familiar with S&P 500. Been around for a while, even as early as 1926 when it was just S&P 90, right? But the average rate of return across these many years is only about 12%, guys, 12%. And let's look at the past 10 calendar years and see what kind of performance we've been getting. And so I want to point out that traditional finance, again, there's opportunity there, but there's way more opportunity in digital asset markets. And looking at the past 10 calendar years, we see average rate of return about 15%. wow, right? That's great, right? That's great. No, not really. Take a look at what EasyBot can do to a portfolio over time, where the risk of volatility is managed through algorithmic trading that's automated, and we have access to higher rates of return, right? And so EasyBot on a portfolio we started back in January of 2023 is averaging over 50% a year. That's way more beneficial to someone trying to save for retirement than 15% per year, right? And again, just looking at S&P 500 right now, as of 2025, rate of return is about 11.44%, right? We knowing that STES is a part of the GBA and STES network is BMM rated, right? We wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to take a look at performance related to the STES token. They got a token and it's BMM rated. So we put it through the EasyBot regime, and in 64 days, just 2 months, we already generated 15% on our rate of return. That's so much higher than the 11.44% that we see in S&P 500 for almost been an entire year, guys, 9 months, and we're only at 15% rate of return when in 2 months we could get 15% through algorithmic crypto trading via the EasyBot platform. And I'll point out.
And Charles, can I throw one thing in here? The trading strategies that Dr. Ali put together, you make public, right? And so you've got your portfolio. So when I first looked at you guys, I got to tell you, I had one eyebrow raised, and I was like, I don't know, right? I've heard about these scams, and I had a lot of people say the same thing. And so just for our audience to know, I've been personally working with these folks and gotten to know them and their integrity and transparency. Dr. Ali's really his heart to try to solve the problem for himself, and then recognize other people had the issue, and then realize that, hey, we could win together, right? Rising tide lifts all ships. And I'm so impressed. But you guys are so transparent. I just really, really appreciate it. And Nick, I got to tell you, I think my first connection with Seth was with Emily, right? And then I got to meet JC, and oh my gosh, what just gold nuggets of a human beings. They're incredible people. I'm so, but when you guys come together, this is awesome. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Charles, but I just wanted to make that point.
No, and I think it's a good point to raise. We always approached our business from the premise of putting people first. We say in our business, when helping people is your purpose, there's always profit in your progress. So passion for people always leads to profits on repeat. And so we do a lot of education, right, in our community so that people are much more competent when they enter digital asset markets, thereby equipping them with tools that they need to be successful. And so one of the things we like to do is do comparisons between traditional finance and what digital asset markets can do, cryptocurrency, right? And so we understand that right now, the statistics show that the average portfolio balance is about $137,000, right? 13780, right? And the contributions that are suggested by retirement experts is about 15%. So average income for someone in the United States is about $67,000. And so a 15% monthly contribution is about $750, right? And so if we use S&P 500 rates of return, even at 15%, it's going to take a good 18 years to get a really great return on your investment, right? 15%, right? If you use the normal rate of return, about 12%, it's going to take what is that? 14 years to get $1 million in your account. And so I'm not happy with that. No one should be happy with that. What we've understood is that when you have a higher rate of return, you can significantly decrease the amount of time it takes to get to your end goal, right? So we can double S&P 500. Our statistics show that our corporate portfolios have averaged good 3% per month, which is almost triple S&P 500, right? 36% per year. We can get to our end goal in as little as, 7 years versus waiting 14 or 18 years. So it's important to have an alternative source of savings, right? That can benefit you by decreasing the amount of time you got to spend in the markets. It does not make sense to not be involved in the digital asset markets, especially with companies like CES that have utility behind their assets, and companies like EasyBot that provide the exact solution that a consumer would need to get from point A to point B. It doesn't make sense not to connect with these opportunities.
Let me throw it back over to Nick, and I think we'll have a little bit of time at the end. So I want to maybe have some information about how people can get involved with your two projects. So Nick, there's a lot of projects out there that people can invest in, right? If I'm trying to decide and want to diversify from cryptocurrency into project-based utility tokens, tell me a little bit about why I should invest in CES.
It's a great question because, what I am seeing, over my career is a huge shift for how we pay for technology. When I started at Oracle, we used to charge a licensing fee. And then on top of it, we would provide an annual service agreement. And that was very common for almost 20 years. And then Mark Benioff, not only with Salesforce, came out with the Salesforce platform, but he also came out with a new way to pay for that software, and that was called the subscription. A lot more beneficial to the user of a system like that. And so there was a tremendous, again, benefit not only to the technology, but also the way it was being paid for, which really set Salesforce and other SaaS models solutions aside from the existing licensing model. And so everybody jumped onto that. Interestingly enough, another 20 years later, we see the emergence of blockchain solutions, basically decentralized solutions. But that's the new technology. But the benefit is also a new way to pay for it. And that's where a token is being used to pay for that technology. So think of it almost like when you're buying a token, utility token for software, it's like buying a stored value card at a department store. You're buying a credit that you can use going forward. And you can buy as much of it as you want. And the good news is that price is determined on the marketplace. So to the buyer of technology through a token, that gives a little more power to the buyer again. So we're going to see organizations like the SaaS companies, like Salesforce, start to look at tokenization, not just assessed by ourselves being an infrastructure company, but I'm envisioning that every software company in the next 5 to 8 years is going to utilize tokens in some way to sell their software. So coming back to why is it a good idea to look at a utility token or look at specifically the CES token? Well, the number one reason is because there's value backing it up. In other words, there's a supply and demand event here. There's the person that wants the technology, wants the computer that you as a miner are providing, wants that infrastructure to be there. And there's the other side of the person that's willing to make that technology available. And that's really what sets aside what I call this next phase of trading, this next phase of the whole blockchain tokenization world, is that now we've got the fact that backbones of the overall blockchain industry are now available through a tokenization system. So, the CES token is required for the storage, retrieval, governance, and participation of all of our services. So you can imagine as more companies start to use CES, the demand for the token goes up, which also provides a great opportunity for people that are looking to provide their services, their equipment through mining, as well as those that are taking advantage of training models like we're talking about here being available. And so the whole driver, I want to go back to where I started, the whole driver in my books of why tokenization and why decentralized data is going to become so big is because there's so much requirement. There's so much need out there for data storage and data distribution. And that's because with AI models, the amount of data is just exploding. We saw this with IoT, where data storage became pinnacle, and there were so many bits and bytes of video and audio and all these systems out with IoT. Now we're going to see that with AI even more so. So it's only growing. In other words, the value of data is growing. That means the value data network is so important. And that is backing the whole area of a token that is being traded. And that's why the SES token is such a great direction for people to look at in terms of, you're purchasing, in essence, a value that someone will want. And so that will drive the token to pricing that will allow for people to make money off of the token, as well as those people that utilize it. So the whole area of utility and demand, the whole area of incentive and reward, we have a whole gamification side. In other words, we're providing insights, and we have a community. Our community makes money through getting tokens for promoting and supporting our world. And so
let me throw one other aspect. When I looked at this SES token, one of the things that I saw gave it incredible value, right? And I'm in the government space, right? And so, the Government Blockchain Association is interested in bringing people in government to the decentralized world, right? But there are some barriers and limitations. One of them, for example, is if you want to do voting on blockchain, right? There are laws that prohibit my government from being able to put data in jurisdictions outside of, or areas outside of my jurisdiction, right? So geolocating, geofencing data, right? Well, how do you deal with that in a decentralized network, right? SES Network has a solution for that, right? And again, we don't have time. This isn't this isn't intended to be a SES Network infomercial, right? It's really about tokens. And again, I asked Nick because they have such a great token. And if you're going to get into a utility token, then that's a great one to get into. But it's that. And then also with this huge explosion with AI, right, your ability to separate the training data from the training model. So you've got an entire infrastructure that allows for decentralization, yet really supports the growth of AI and supports public sector by being able to geolocate nodes or geofence nodes, right? So again, if I was going to invest in a utility token, Jiminy Crickets, man, you guys hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, if I could just share for 2 minutes, I highly recommend anyone to read the SES white paper. It will give you all the confidence you need in terms of all the technology we offer and the strength of what we're offering. But you touched on 2 things. One, we can geofence. In other words, we can ensure that all nodes sit within a certain geographic area, which is great for, we talked a lot to the IRS a couple of years ago, and they were like, well, we have to have all the nodes inside of one area. And you just pointed out voting. The nodes have to be inside of a state or inside of the US borderline. So there's absolutely that we offer. And we also recognize that, AI is so critical. And so what you're touching on is AI, for it to be effective, has got to be dynamic. It's millisecond updates that will make AI very successful. And yet, how do you do that with a centralized system when data can be anywhere? You have to ensure the data stays very private and secure, and the model gets updated in flash time, in millisecond time, and therefore that model then has to be made sure that it's absolutely sovereign, secure, and private. And that's
I'm going to sidebar for a second. One of the things that the GBA is really known for is setting standards, right? And we've developed the artificial intelligence supplement to the blockchain maturity model. SES, I'm sure you heard about the trials and tribulations of SES going through that rigorous process.
Thank you.
No, I've been told, other reviews people had, they called were high-level flyovers, right? They had smart contract audits. But they said ours was more like, I won't use a medical term that involves.
Now that we passed it, Jared. Now that we passed it, I'm very happy.
Yeah, exactly. No, for those of you that don't know, BMM assessment involves pulling a team of experts together from multiple disciplines, right? So you got legal and regulatory, you've got technology, you've got tokenomics and domain expertise. And they go through a very, very rigorous process of evaluating documentation, technology, just all kinds of stuff. And so but we're looking at artificial intelligence as an important, we need to secure AI with blockchain. So we're putting a lot of time there. And I want to go back to Dr. Ali. As you look at future projects, right? I would say the BMM really ought to be a discriminator, right, or a criteria, because if people have to do due diligence. The BMM is a phenomenal way to do that. Listen, I want to let people know how to get in touch with you guys to get involved with your project. So we do have your LinkedIn stuff, but let me start with you, Dr. Ali. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can get back to me on LinkedIn account, which you have shared the link already here. And I think Charles can share also with us the email where people can send their inquiry or whatever the reason that why they want to reach out to us, so they can shoot us an email in that email. So Charles, if you can put the email down.
I also want to, I'm going to give the folks that are listening to this a little break. So EasyBot has given GBA members a very significant discount on their software service. So basically you pay a software subscription, and then that essentially the use of the software allows you to essentially capitalize on your trades. But Charles, would it be okay if we let people who are watching this live cast, if they want to get that same deep discount, would that be all right if I give that out?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you're interested in finding out more about EasyBot, send an email to EasyBot, EazyBot at gbaglobal.org. Right, and that'll get you in touch with the EasyBot folks, and they can give you the discount code or whatever. To find out more about it or to enroll in their thing. I also want to remind folks that we are doing the conference at the United States Capitol on October 30th called The Future of Money, Governance, and Law. We'll have about 650 people there at the U.S. Capitol, policymakers, innovators. CES Network and EasyBot are both sponsors. EasyBot is going to be sponsoring the Gala Cryptopoly game, right, where we'll be gamifying trading, right?
Can't wait.
But, Charles, you had a meeting with our events director this morning. You wanted to share a little bit about what that experience is going to be all about?
Yeah, it was, and so it was such an insightful meeting. She shared so much great information with us that we're more well prepared to be able to perform adequately at that event. But we're gonna see people engaging and networking with each other over a crypto-based or cryptocurrency-based game, and these people are going to be so excited about the rewards that they can win and the boost that they can get via the EasyBot platform. I'm just super excited to be able to say I'm going to be attending this, and I cannot wait to see the winners of this game, because we're taking pictures all day long. It'll be great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the pictures from last year were great. So the bottom line is, when you get to this game, you get to you'll receive some digital assets. You'll receive some like Monopoly cards with Bitcoin, Ethereum, different CES token, different tokens, and a stack of movie money, which looks absolutely real on camera, right? And then through the evening, you get to buy, trade, and sell these different digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And whoever has the highest portfolio value at the end of the night, they get a basket of real cryptocurrencies. Last year, maybe I shouldn't say. Last year it was over $10,000 worth of prizes and stuff. So people have a blast. It's a great way for people to meet each other. You meet some really top people. Oh, and also it's a 1920s, 1930s theme. So the women will be wearing flapper dresses. The guys are wearing top hats, and it's just a blast. So at GBA, we like to have a lot of fun, but we like to get stuff done too, and that'll be great. Then also just remind you, we're also releasing the report on October 30th called Preventing Government Fraud, Waste, and Abuse with Blockchain. And if you're not a member of GBA, we do encourage you to join. Go to gbaglobal.org and get more information about us there. And also check out the Emerging Tech Directory on the GBA Global website. So under resources, if you want to find any kind of company, or if you want to list your company, you can list that there at the Emerging Tech Directory. It's at gbaglobal.org. Just look under resources. And with that, Nick, any final thoughts you want to put out there?
A couple of things I'd love to share. For those of you that are developers out there, are part of organizations building Web 2, Web 3 solutions, feel free to check us out at ces.network, read the white paper, follow us on Discord, really get to go to GitHub, read all of our materials. It's very thorough. You can set up your own node yourself very easily, and take advantage of the fact that we're still in this pre-launch stage. We've launched the token, but we're going to the mainnet later this year. And so you have an opportunity still to build with us before we launch the mainnet. And for those that are looking at tokens, know that our token right now is at a point where we're about to launch. So you can study us, take our time, and to get a hold of us, it's really simple. We have a lot of social that's out there that I just mentioned. Feel free to connect with us there. I'm on X. You can follow me there. You can follow directly with the company. I look forward to hearing from everybody. We are all about working together. In the Web3 community, it is not the competitive environment that we saw in the Web2 community. We all work together. I'm dear friends with the head of many of the organizations out there that provide storage, provide deep-in solutions, provide infrastructures, provide Web2 solutions for storage. We're all working together because the future of technology is not competitive. It's us working together. And I love the transparency that Charles and Mohammed provide. We provide the same. And you can see all about us in all of the areas that I just mentioned. Thank you so much, GBA, for setting this call up. We talked about it being exciting yesterday as we prepped for this, and I think it was even more exciting than I could have ever thought of. I can't wait to meet with everyone at the end of October, and I just want to thank you for the time.
Awesome, thank you. Charles, you want to say anything, and then I will throw it over to Dr. Ali.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having CES, the BMM rated CES network, as one of our corporate partners, helping with referral rewards. I'm super excited about what we're doing together so far. So looking forward to the future of our partnership. I'm always thrilled to be doing anything related to the GBA. We found a kinship with the GBA. They are all about education, putting people first, and taking care of business. We do the same at EasyBot. So we're just thrilled to have these partnerships. We're looking forward to establishing more, bringing more people into the GBA, more people into EasyBot, more people into CES Network. And so I love the passion that exudes from the leadership at CES Network and the leadership at GBA. And we are on board with that type of leadership. So we're loving our partnership. I'll turn it over to Dr. Ali.
Dr.
Thank
Ali,
you, Charles.
Go ahead and close this out.
Sure. Yeah. So thank you, first of all, George, for setting this up and inviting us for this call, and also inviting us to be the sponsor for your upcoming event in October. And it was nice meeting you, Nick, and hope to see you in person one day. And thank you, Charles, for joining me in this call, and thank you for all the attendees for spending the time with us and watching all about EasyBot and about the CES network. And I would like to welcome anyone who is really interested in crypto trading and have no experience to really join us, and just join us in our calls and see what we're doing and how we're doing it, and try it for yourself.
Thank you. All right. You guys have a great one. We'll see you at the next live stream. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.